Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the SpursRelated YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone's doing very well today. Today, we're going to dive into a few transfer rumours and updates, all things to do with incomings this time. But obviously, we know that there is an awful lot to do with getting rid of some players for the rest of the window, the likes of Basuma, the likes of Solomon. But as I said, the big news today is, as you can see by the title and the thumbnail of the video, Rodrygo of Real Madrid is now linked to Tottenham Hotspur, with apparently talks underway, according to some sources. Now, guys, a little disclaimer as always. I have to keep it 100% real with you. You know, these aren't tier 1 sources, probably not even tier 2 sources, but it gives us food for thought in terms of what we actually need for the rest of the window. Because let's be honest, the only incoming transfer we've had, other than Kota Takai, is Mohamed Kudus, in the sense that he upgrades the team and brings us something different. You could argue that Matthias Tell is a signing that we've bought in, but actually we've just made that one a permanent. And we already had Tell last year. So there is an awful lot of hostility within the fan base at the moment, especially on social media. And it's understandable, right? We haven't signed enough players and we haven't done enough to be competing with the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, and so on. You know, Arsenal just announcing Victor Gyökeres, who I've been an admirer of for many years. I'm sure you guys are as well. Very scary stuff that a lot of our rivals are strengthening and leaving us behind. But what's the latest on this Rodrygo thing, and how likely is it to happen? As I said, I personally don't think it's likely to happen, but it's food for thought. And apparently Rodrygo does want to leave Real Madrid this summer. Tottenham will consider the moving for Rodrygo, guys, should Son Heung Min leave the football club. And as I was saying, it all relies on outgoings as well with this stuff, right? And Heung Min Son is heavily linked to LAFC. Things are progressing apparently on that front, and could see Sonny leaving Tottenham after the Asia preseason tour, which the players have just flown out for. And guys, let me know in the comments below if you are a bit worried about how weak that team is, because I saw a lot of people saying that that squad is just not good enough to compete, especially at Champions League and Premier League level. But let me know in the comments below what you think on the Sonny situation as well. But apparently Spurs are prepared to make a statement signing if Son were to depart, almost having a marquee signing, and a brand new fresh face as the leader of Tottenham Hotspur in terms of the squad. And at this stage, TBR Football can confirm that Son is now seriously considering that move to LAFC, as I've just mentioned. The Real Madrid star is one of the names that consider should be open to moving to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. For me, it's a bit of a weird one, because Rodrygo I see as a level of player that's really up there. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the likes of a Liverpool or a Manchester City are linked with him. Can Tottenham lure someone that was essentially starting for Real Madrid regularly in the last couple of seasons? Can they lure someone like that in? I think it would be a statement signing. But what do you guys think? Do you think Rodrygo is a top player? Do you think we could lure him? For me, like I said a couple of times, I just don't see it. But anyway, let's delve into it a little bit more on how he could, you know, shape up as a Tottenham player and what he would bring to the table. And at the moment, in our forward line, I think it's fair to say that a lot of the players are pretty weak passers of the ball, and part of our problem is delivery into the box and finishing. That was a lot of the frustration under Ange Postecoglou. You know, and most of our goals were really coming from Brennan Johnson at the back stick. So can we get another player that can beat his man, pass the ball well, and provide assists? And of course, Rodrygo's strengths are in passing and successful take-ons in the top 80 and 98 percentile, respectively, on that. And obviously, progressive passes is an important attribute, but I just think £80 million, as I move on to this next slide, with his stats. Now, guys, correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but that output is obviously, it's okay. It's decent, but I mean, I've watched Rodrygo play a number of times, especially in the Champions League. He is a player where you're like, wow, he can take a game by the scruff of the neck and really run the show. But for me, is that really what Tottenham Hotspur need as a priority at the moment? Because I would argue that we need a number 6. I mean, I don't even think there's an argument for that. A backup left back for sure, to come in when Udogie is either injured or tired. And I think we need to sign a 10, because Morgan Gibbs-White has obviously fallen through. Now, Rodrygo can play across the front line in left wing, right wing, as the 10, as the forward second striker. But for me, I think we need a left-sided player, especially if Son leaves. Yeah, Rodrygo can play on the left side, but do you guys think we actually need a player that's more of a natural playmaker that will sit there in a 10, as well as that number 6 that plays either alongside another player in the double pivot or can absorb the defensive side of things in front of that back four themselves? I think that there is a few more priority positions to look at before even thinking about Rodrygo, especially as £80 million would be a considerable amount of our transfer budget. Let's not forget that we're not Manchester City, we're not Liverpool. We're not going to be spending 200-300 million like some of these teams have done. But guys, let me know what you think on Rodrygo. I think it's an interesting one. I think also it's probably something that's not really going to come into fruition and really develop. But we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens in the next few days on that one. But the next thing I wanted to talk about, guys, was about Eze. And of course, things have slowed down in terms of the tier one sources talking about his move to Arsenal, which was obviously hotting up in the last couple of weeks. But I mean, he played a preseason game for Palace just the other day at the weekend, and I don't think he is necessarily going anywhere. However, according to the Evening Standard, Arsenal have apparently reached an agreement on personal terms with Eze, but that apparently is also according to French media outlet Sports Zone. Again, take it with a pinch of salt, take it how you will. But obviously, it would be gutting to see Eze, a signing that, well, a player that we were linked with right at the very start of the window, one that we thought we were going to be at the forefront for. We thought that we were going to sign Eze at the end of June, start of July, and obviously now our arch rivals look like they may have agreed terms. Let's see how that one plays out, according to Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, and the likes. But apparently, Arsenal will consider triggering the £60 million release clause plus £8 million, which is what Palace are looking for, the £68 million. I just don't understand why we're not moving quicker for a likes of an Eze, especially as Morgan Gibbs-White has fallen through. Why would you not go and make that statement and appease the fans after there's been a meltdown, right? We thought we'd sign Morgan Gibbs-White. We had the here we go. But we need to do something now to make sure that the fan base know that we're serious for this summer, especially after that statement from Daniel Levy and Vinay in that interview about how we want to win the league, how we want to win the Champions League. And I don't see that ambition at the moment when just signing a Mohamed Kudus. For me, that is not enough, and I think everyone would agree with that. Whether we need 2 or 3 more or 4 or 5 more is another question, but certainly we need to do something quickly. So let's see how the Eze thing plans out. But the next thing I wanted to talk about was Mikautadze. I've probably pronounced that horrendously. I even tried to get the pronunciation right before I started this video. But Mikautadze is a player that Lyon have and has been exceptional in the last season or two. And apparently his release clause is just 22 million euros. Now that blows my mind for the caliber of player he is. Obviously he did very, very well at Euro 2024, scored a few goals in big games in that competition, and has done very well for Lyon, not just goal scoring wise, but his creative ability too and his assists. He can play off the left, he can play as a second striker, and he can even play just behind the striker as well. So he is a versatile player and something that Tottenham were obviously looking for in Morgan Gibbs-White, who could play as the number 10, sometimes off the left, obviously sometimes in a deeper lying 8 position. But I think it's an interesting one, guys, because there's been a few rumours about him and his output is sensational. I mean, look at that there, 195 career games, 99 goals, 28 assists. I mean, that is insane numbers for someone for 22 million. It doesn't even seem like a risk. And obviously, there's a few things going on with Lyon in terms of they got relegated. Now they've not been relegated. But I feel like there's a thing there where we could trigger the release clause and get this player. I mean, it seems like something we should be doing. You look at his FB ref in his comparison to other forwards. Top 94 percentile for expected assists and goals. Top 99 percentile for assists. 0.38 per 90. Insane passing stats, insane accuracy. And for me, guys, look at those stats. 22 million euro release clause. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's slightly higher than that, but it seems like a player you could go and get for that sort of fee. Maybe 30 million, even if it was 40 million. For me, I think he's a player that Tottenham Hotspur should explore. And I mean, we should explore so many different players. We haven't seen many links in the last few days, but I think there's something there where Tottenham have the opportunity to go and get some of these gems that no one else is going for. Yes, maybe the Eze boat has sailed, but go after a player like Mikautadze and go and do something that really, really makes a statement and think that and make a point to the fans that actually it doesn't matter about Morgan Gibbs-White. There is plenty more opportunities to explore. But guys, let me know what you think on this player, and do you think that Tottenham Hotspur should go in for him? Because I tell you what, Thomas Frank has an awful lot to do in terms of making this team tick. There is a squad there, there is some quality there, but I would say we are still 3, 4, maybe 5 signings away from competing with the top 6, even with the top 8 in the Premier League. And don't forget, we've got the Champions League. You know, why qualify for the Champions League and then not bring in some Champions League quality players? But you could also say that we do have some world-class players in the sense of Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven's getting into that category now of an absolutely unbelievable player. James Maddison on his day, very good. But we need more quality. You know, we've got Pedro Porro, Doji, but have we got the caliber of players to challenge them and really kick on as a team and as a squad? I don't know. I feel like I've got quite frustrated in this video, but I just think that Tottenham need to act more quickly. We're nearly in August now. The season starts in 2 weeks' time. Our Super Cup game is in, I think, 16 days. If you look at that squad compared to PSG's team, okay, yeah, maybe we were never going to win that game anyway. But at least challenge. At least try and go into the season thinking, yeah, that's a good squad. There's no weaknesses. We can kick on. If we get injuries, we've got decent players to rotate. I feel like we're way off at the moment, guys. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Please do me a massive, massive favour. Keep supporting the channel. Keep smashing the like button. It's free to do so. You can join as a Spurs-related member and join our member shows that are coming up for the season as well in the description below. But please do like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on this video. Turn those notification bells on if you made it to the end of the video as well. And give me a little ring, ring, and ding, ding in the chat. And as always, guys, we keep the faith. We need to do some more stuff. But remember, as always, come on, you Spurs, do something.